One of the worst things you can do is to start dating someone or get into a relationship with someone and not know how to meet your own emotional needs. Getting into a relationship and not knowing how to have, not knowing this basic skill will cause you to create unhealthy attachments to another person, and you will eventually either push them away or create a mother-child type of dynamics. So, what do I mean about meeting your own emotional needs? Well, before I go there, let's define what emotional needs are. And I got this definition off a psychology website. And so it says emotional needs are feelings or conditions we need to feel happy, fulfilled, or at peace. Without them, we may feel frustrated, hurt, or dissatisfied. Some examples of emotional needs might include feeling appreciated, feeling accomplished, feeling safe, or feeling part of a community. And so when we talk about learning how to meet your own emotional needs, we are saying this from a place of going into a relationship or going into a dating phase of your life when your emotional cup is empty. You don't feel generally happy, you don't feel generally fulfilled, and you don't feel generally at peace. Now, this doesn't mean that your life has to be perfect and you have to have the dream job, the dream house, the dream bank account, the dream whatever, but you have to be in a place of being at peace, being happy, and in the process of fulfilling yourself. Because what happens is we end up dating these men and getting into relationships, and we expect these men to fill our cup. We came to them empty. You see, the purpose of relationship is really not to fill the holes in your life. It is to expand your life, to build upon what you already have, to create something greater. So when you come from a place of emptiness, you're expecting them to fill you up, and therefore you create a dependency on that other person for your happiness, a dependency on that person for your fulfillment, a dependency on that person for your peace. And when you create that type of dependency, guess what? You're making them your God. And we don't want to do that. No human being has the power, the capacity, or the ability to fulfill the role of God in your life. So this is why we have to understand and evaluate ourselves before we get into these relationships or even start dating, to make sure that we have healthy habits in place to fulfill our own emotional needs, so that we don't create these unhealthy attachments that creates these toxic relationships that create these debilitating types of heartbreak. So what can you do to start to fulfill your own emotional needs? The first thing you want to do is actually pay attention to yourself. Ask yourself on a daily basis, am I happy? Now, this is a tricky question because, if you go to work from a 9 to 5, then somebody on one day is going to do something to piss you off. And that's okay. That one thing doesn't determine the totality of your life. But in general, are you happy? In general, are you doing things that fulfill you? In general, are you at peace? Do you wake up at peace? Do you go to bed at peace? Or is your mind always full of turmoil? Is your mind always expecting the next worst thing to happen? Pay attention to yourself. Pay attention to your mindset. Pay attention to how your body feels. Are your shoulders always up like this? Or, are you always tense in your neck? Pay attention to yourself. Number 2, you want to journal. And this is something that I think we all have heard before, but we don't create the habit, the consistent daily habit of journaling what's going on with us, so we can track and make changes to get us from where we are today of not having enough happiness or having our emotional bank being empty, to a place of having our emotional bank being full. So you want to journal, and don't just use it as a what I want to call it, a dump box, because that's something I used to do. I made the mistake of doing is just writing down everything that happened. And eventually I got tired of writing down all the bad things that was happening in my life. I got tired of always regurgitating the same exact thing. So you want to use journaling as a way to to acknowledge your feelings and acknowledge what's happening, but then use it as a method to write your way out of it, to remind yourself of the possibility, to remind yourself of the power of God, to remind yourself of the possibility of miracles and the promises that were given to you already. You just have to believe it in order to receive it. And so you want to use your journaling in that way, and not just a way to say, oh, today was a horrible day. Today, this person got on my nerves. Today, somebody cut me off in traffic. That's not what I mean by journaling. Journaling is a method you use to capture and acknowledge your feelings, but also use it as a written prayer or a written manifesto or written acknowledgement of the promises God has given you for another day, for a better day. So that's number 2. Number 3, ask yourself, what do I need in order to feel happier? What do I need in order to feel more joy? What do I need to fill up my emotional bank? And this requires some reflection, because some of the first things we think about is, oh, I need more money, I need a better job. And some of those things may be true. And if those things are really true for you, where you need a better job, you need more money, you need better friends, a better circle, those are things for you to take action on. One of the things that I caution women to do is don't start dating if you're struggling. Don't start dating if you are struggling financially, because then you're going to look for a man to be a financial savior, which is an unhealthy attachment. Don't start dating if you're having trouble on your job and your job is making you miserable, because misery loves company. Whether you intend for it to or not, you're going to end up dumping that misery onto him and thereby creating a toxic type of relationship. You want to get your life to a place where you feel good about it. So ask yourself today, what do I need to feel good about my life, so that when I invite somebody into my life, it doesn't feel like a burden to them, but it feels more like an adventure, something exciting to go on. So that's number 3. And then number 4, you want to practice daily emotional self-care. Emotional self-care. And what I mean by emotional self-care is watch the words that you speak to yourself. One of the things I do on a daily basis is that I speak my manifesto. I speak life over myself. I have a playlist of songs that are nothing but affirmations. I can actually show you. And I love it because this is how I set the tone for myself. Let me see, can you guys see that? There we go. That's part of my playlist for affirmations that I have for myself, that I play in the mornings, anytime I feel like it, because it helps me set my mind right. Because when your thoughts are way left, if your thoughts are all negative, then it's going to be challenging for you to feel better. It's going to be challenging for you to find a solution. It's going to be challenging for you to create a life that feels good to you and is good for you and those around you. So you want to watch what you are listening to, watch what you are seeing. There's another thing I did one time over the holidays, actually, is I got into this thing about watching documentaries, and it was documentaries about dark stuff, like what is it? The Hernandez case several years ago is about child abuse, and that disturbed me left, right, and center. I don't know how I got caught up in that. But those are the type of things you want to take in minimally, and don't binge watch stuff like that, because it affects your spirit. It affects your emotion. So emotional self-care looks like monitoring the words you speak to yourself, monitoring what you're listening to, and monitoring what you're thinking. Another form of emotional self-care is to spread love. And I know this sounds a little bit cheesy, but there's nothing wrong with spreading good energy with other people. One of the things I used to do as well is at work, I would randomly leave a dollar bill, even a $5 bill, under somebody's keyboard, and then watch them, or wait for them to hear their surprise and figure out, did I leave this here, or did somebody put this here? But sometimes finding money just makes someone's day. Or I have some friends who love putting greeting cards in the mail as a nice surprise. That's great. You can do something as simple as sending someone, I'm just thinking of you text, I'm just sending you blessings your way without asking for anything in return. So spread love. When you find a part of you that allows you to give love to others, you're creating more love in you to give more love to others. So it really benefits both of you. So that's a part of your emotional self-care. And so to go over that again, number one, you want to pay attention to where you are emotionally. Number two, you want to journal. Number three, ask yourself, what do I need to feel good about my life? And then number four, practice daily emotional self-care. And remember, here is the goal is not to absolve your partner, absolve the person that you're dating from the responsibility of loving you, from the responsibility of taking care of you, from the responsibility of nurturing you. They still have that responsibility to add to your cup so that it overflows, not to pour into a cup that has holes in it where it just depleted all the time. So the goal here is to empower you to emotionally take care of yourself so that you are not creating unhealthy attachments to another human being. All right, you guys, I hope that this video was a reminder for you to just really take a look at yourself and stay on the path of creating healthy relationships. If this video was a blessing to you, please leave a comment below and be sure to share this with someone else who may need it. All right, you guys, until we meet again, I want you to continue to be bold, walk in your brilliance, and be completely unstoppable in the pursuit of what your heart desires in life and in your relationships. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.